Let's bring in Kevin Walling. He's a Democratic campaign advisor and strategist, and John Thomas, a Republican pollster. Great to have you both here. So we just got those new numbers in from the Biden team. So let me just start with that. Kevin, what do you make of the fundraising for the Democrats so far, and what do you think Biden has to do?
Yeah, well, as you noted, as Peter just noted in Iowa, it's the Team Biden's strongest quarter yet at about 23 million. I'm enthusiastic to see these kind of numbers. Andrew Yang had a great quarter. Of course, Bernie Sanders, that powerhouse fundraiser with online donations, is leading the field with 34 million. If you add up, what Senator Sanders has raised and what Senator Biden or Vice President Biden has raised, it's about 10 million more than the incumbent president. So I'm enthusiastic about what we're seeing in terms of numbers on the Democratic side. Of course, the president is having a record-breaking time as well.
He is, John Thomas. That's absolutely true. And Brad Parscale, the campaign manager, says impeachment really helped them goose up those numbers this past quarter.
It did, and it helped President Trump shore up his base. It helped Republicans and Trump's base understand what's at stake in November, that the Democrats will do anything to take power from the voters' choice and throw Trump out of office. So these people are charged up. And what it tells us, Dana, is that President Trump is going to have all the resources he needs to run a full-throated re-election effort. In fact, President Trump's campaign has been trying to frame the narrative in those key battleground states for the last several months. That might just frame this race up before the general election even begins.
Let me ask you, Kevin. So Bernie Sanders raises almost $35 million in the quarter. He's already pulled the party quite far to the left in some of the proposals, like Medicare for all, et cetera. But with his donors, those grassroots, if he doesn't make it to be the nominee, will their enthusiasm transfer to someone else?
Yeah, Dana, it's a great question. I mean, one of the most incredible figures coming out of the 2016 election was about 14% of primary supporters for Senator Sanders against Secretary Clinton actually voted for President Trump in the general election. So there was some crossover appeal with Senator Sanders supporters in 2016. It'll be anyone's bet if you see that kind of split heading into 2020, depending on who's at the top of the ticket.
Well, and let's just ask you about that, John Thomas. So Elizabeth Warren, she had kind of a great summer. She hasn't had a great fall. We don't have her fundraising numbers yet, though she signaled that they wouldn't be as good. She's not even talking much about Medicare for all anymore. Where do you think she's going to end up here? Like, does she know the state of her campaign and how perilous it might be?
I mean, she's a smart woman. I'm sure she recognizes that the runway is getting shorter and the lane is getting more narrow. She's kind of boxed in, Dana, because on the one hand, you're right, her money is slowing down. She's probably due under 20 million this quarter is what she's predicting. And the problem is she can't pick on Bernie Sanders because his people are true believers and it's mutually assured destruction. He's got plenty of money to bury her. And she can't go to the right because she's already gone too far to the left. So she really doesn't have much to go. I wouldn't be surprised if she has a terrible showing in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, that she doesn't make it to Super Tuesday.
Let me ask you, Kevin, this last question here. So Karl Rove was on in his column today in the Wall Street Journal. He predicts a contested convention for the Democrats, just given how the primaries work and how it's not winner take all, it's proportional. Do you think that's possible, and are the Democrats planning for it?
Yeah, I think my prediction is, if the vice president wins Iowa, wins New Hampshire with that momentum coming out of Iowa, and as you rightly point out, Dana, we're just a month away today from the Iowa polls, that he can clear the field and be successful on Super Tuesday. Of course, you had that wild card with Mike Bloomberg, who's put a ton of his money in all those Super Tuesday states. So I think it's anyone's guess what's going to happen come July.
It's amazing that all this time and all this money, and we still don't know, but that's why we keep watching. Kevin Walling and John Thomas, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Dana.